Mark-release recapture is a technique that we use in order to estimate the population size of a specific species inside an ecosystem. Now, this technique is used only for motile organisms, basically for organisms that move, because for non-motile organisms we use quadrats. Now, to apply this technique, we need to follow some specific steps. Step 1, we need to collect a sample of the individuals of the species that we want to investigate. So we need to collect a sample of the population. Number 2, we need to mark the individuals that we are going to collect. Now, marking means we need to put some sort of a sign on them so we can recognize them. Step 3 is release. Now, we need to release them back to their habitat so they can blend, they can mix again with their population. Number 4 is recapture. Now, we need again to take a second sample of our species, and from that sample, we need to count how many of those are marked. So the step 5 is counting. Now, remember that in step 2, we marked some of the individuals we had from the first sample. Now, the second sample, in the recapturing, we need to count the ones that were marked. Step 6, we need to use the formula so we can estimate the size of the population. Now, what is the formula? This formula says that the total number of the population is the number of the first sample that you took, so basically in step 1, times the number of individuals you took in your second sample, so step 4, divided with the marked individuals that you observed in step 4. So, for example, imagine that I'm looking at wood mice and I collected 10 wood mice at my first sample. Then in the second sample, I also collected 10 wood mice, but from those 10, I counted that 2 of them are actually marked. So to use the formula, I have to do 10 times 10, first sample, second sample, divided with the individuals that are marked, 2, so it will give us a total of 50. So this is just a small example just to give you the idea of how we use this formula. Now remember, there are specific conditions in order to apply this technique. First of all, the number of births and the number of deaths should be very similar, because this is going to affect our population size. Also, if they are not similar or same, they have to be really low in numbers. Also, we need to make sure that when we mark the individuals, we mark them in a way that is non-toxic and in a way that will not make them susceptible to predation. And why is that? Because if we mark them in a way that makes them susceptible to predation or in a way that is toxic and is going to kill them, that will affect us in 2 ways. One, it's going to decrease the amount of the population, so our estimations will be wrong. And secondly, when we recapture them, we're not going to find any ones that are actually marked, because either they die because of the toxicity or they die because of predation. And the third condition that is very important, we don't need to have immigration or emigration in our population. So that means that we need to make sure that individuals of our population will remain within the same population, will not, for example, immigrate and go and find another place to live. Or we have to make sure that not another population will come and merge with the population that we are investigating, because that again is going to affect the total number or our estimation of the population size.